A tense standoff continues in northern BC over a planned LNG pipeline.
A 50-day Indigenous blockade to block TransCanada's 400-mile, $4.7 billion Coastal GasLink pipeline.
The approved route runs right through more than 22,000 square kilometers of Wet'suwet'en territory.
This is Slato. I'm here in Gidimt'en territory of the Wet'suwet'en Nation, where we are resisting a fracked gas pipeline. This project would be the first of many that would pass through our territories, bringing fracked gas to the coast, bringing oil to the coast from the tar sands, which would devastate the coastal communities and our ability to pass on our culture and live as Indigenous people on our lands.
How would you guys feel if I did that to you guys and went up to your homes? Walk into your yards and just start knocking everything down.
Right now, CGL wants to drill under Wedzin, which is our sacred headwaters.
You're ruining our land down there. That's our hunting blind. You already wrecked the salmon down there.
Most of the coastal salmon come through this area to spawn. It's one of our last clean drinking water sources that our families and our communities out on the Yinta still access and drink the water from every single day. It's the life giver of our whole territories, and we are here to protect the Wedzin and everything that relies on it for all of our future generations.
You're trespassing on Wet'suwet'en land!
They don't have the consent of the Wet'suwet'en hereditary chiefs to pass through our territory, and the Wet'suwet'en have, in our feast hall, affirmed that no pipelines will enter our territories. In violating our laws and our title to our territories, criminalizing us as Indigenous people on our own lands, removing us from our own lands, holding us at gunpoint with attack dogs and sniper rifles aimed at unarmed Indigenous women and Indigenous people and land defenders is not something that should be acceptable in 22. It's not something that should be funded by anyone, and the people that are funding it need to be held accountable for the genocide and the violence that's happening here.
As part of a nationwide movement, environmental activists are targeting Royal Bank for its role financing fossil fuel projects.
People should know that the banks, particularly RBC, is one of the main funders in the destruction of our territories, in the exploitation of our lands and people, and the criminalization and the violence brought to Indigenous women on our homelands. They have over $500 million invested in TC Energy, which is the parent company of the Coastal GasLink pipeline, and they need to be held accountable for the violence and the genocide that's happening to our lands and our people. People should follow along. There's movements happening all across so-called Canada from coast to coast against this huge financier of projects that are destroying not only our lands, but other Indigenous people's lands all over and contributing to the climate crisis that we're all suffering from.
They are killing us to this day.
There's rallies being held. People are gluing themselves to RBC banks. There's occupations of banks that are happening. All of these things are to put pressure on this bank to pull out of this project and stop funding the genocide of Wet'suwet'en people and lands.